back in the van again, and yes indeed, I have a fresh loaf of bread just for you. Today's loaf comes to us by way of Zeno of Citium, my new favorite. All things are part of one single system, which is called nature. The individual life is good when it is in harmony with nature. It's quite easy to follow the logic that Zeno uses here. He says, all things are one, being interconnected. We call this one thing nature. And with regards to the individual human life, it can only ever be good, it can only ever achieve its highest potential when it is in alignment with the whole. This is why the motto of Stoic philosophy is to live in accordance with nature. This is one of the primary goals of their philosophy. And so they regard nature as being a role model of sorts, a guide, a way for us to know what we should do and how we should live. They talk about imitating nature, and they often use imagery and metaphors that reflect this. For example, in the Meditations, Marcus Aurelius talks about nature quite frequently, and especially when he is reflecting on death. Because in nature, he finds that there is no real end to anything. He talks about how everything is this constant process of change and transformation, and no sooner is one thing gone that a new one takes its place. But there's another line about death in the Meditations where he talks about facing death like the olive, which is overripe. He says when an olive reaches the right stage of ripeness, it just falls off the branch on its own. You don't have to yank it off. It just happens naturally. And that's how he coaches himself to be when death approaches. Like that olive. Don't fight. Don't cling. When death comes, it's the perfect time, and just let go. Now, this is just one small example. There are many, many others throughout the Meditations, and obviously throughout the works of Epictetus and Seneca. This was a central notion for the Stoics, to live in accordance with nature. And it's one that I have explored a little bit in these videos, but not as much as I should. So I'll try to make more efforts to share quotes with you that reflect this principle. It's a principle that I find valuable. It's a principle that I try to follow in my own life, and it has never led me astray. In fact, the only time it leads me astray is when I forget to follow it. Yes, my friends, we can learn a great deal from nature, and we can achieve a great deal by emulating nature and by living in accordance with her laws and with her ways. At least that's been my experience. As always, I'd love to hear from you and about your experience as well. So please don't hesitate to drop me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me on my drive home, and like always, don't forget to live well.